So the big question today is, are we ever going to see a Marvel versus DC movie or a Marvel and DC team-up movie or just a crossover event ever happen in the movies? I do have some thoughts on this of why this could happen and why this could not happen. Of course, if you guys want to hear my opinions on this, make sure you guys definitely stay tuned. How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh, and before we get into this video, make sure you guys definitely subscribe to Webhead so you guys get more on Marvel and DC going forward. Make sure you guys definitely hit that notification bell so you guys get to keep up to date with all of my latest uploads. Of course, make sure you guys definitely smash the like button if you guys like the video, and of course, comment below your thoughts. Do you guys think we will ever see a Marvel and DC crossover movie, specifically a Marvel versus DC movie? Let me know down in the comments, guys. I want to hear your opinions on this, but with all that out of the way, let's get in the video, Webheads. So Marvel and DC crossover movie or Marvel versus DC movie, will this ever happen? This is probably something that every single comic book fan really wants to see on the big screen. I know I personally really want to see something like that happen on the big screen. I mean, really just talking about Avengers Infinity War and Justice League movie just happened. Now we're getting Avengers Infinity War. Those are some movies that I've always wanted to see on the big screen, and I've always kind of dreamed of seeing those big crossover movies. And now really thinking about, well, where can we go next after something like Avengers Infinity War comes out? Well, what about a Marvel versus DC movie? Can we see something like that ever happen? Well, of course, what we know of so far is that, say, DC, all the DC characters, all their movie rights are basically owned by Warner Brothers. And then if we look over at Marvel, where it gets a little more complicated, Marvel characters are owned by Sony. Spider-Man and all of his villains are owned by Sony, and the Hulk solo rights are actually owned by Universal. Same with, like, I'm pretty sure Namor is owned by Universal. It gets a lot more complicated there, but then everything else, especially after the Fox deal with X-Men and Fantastic Four coming back to Marvel, now we know that every other character for Marvel basically is owned by Disney. Now, right there already kind of shows you exactly that this probably is very unlikely to happen, and it's not really mentioning how many characters would be on screen in this movie. Just being owned by two different studios, it's very unlikely that anything like this would happen. And of course, I know what you guys are probably thinking right off the bat is like, well, Spider-Man's owned by Sony, but Disney and Sony were able to have a deal and actually be able to have Spider-Man cross over from the MCU and the Sony films that they produced. They definitely made a deal with that, but that's because Spider-Man actually belongs in Marvel. DC and Marvel really don't belong together. They are definitely two separate entities, and they've only crossed over in the comic books a couple times. But once again, you can kind of look at that entire argument backwards and say, well, actually, we never thought that Spider-Man would be crossing over into the MCU, and it actually happened. We actually do see Spider-Man in the MCU, and then we never thought that Fantastic Four X-Men would actually be brought back into the MCU at all, but that actually happened as well, and we're going to be seeing Deadpool in there as well. So can this actually happen? Can eventually this movie actually happen? And not really addressing the amount of characters that would be on screen, really thinking about Avengers Infinity War and that having like over 30 Marvel superheroes in it, that is a crazy amount of heroes and a crazy amount of actors to actually have in one film if you really think about it. Of course, the budget for this movie would be absolutely crazy, but if it's really owned by two different studios, you have two different studios that are huge, would be funding this one movie. So, of course, they definitely could have a budget for this. But of course, I doubt that both studios would even be able to agree upon the actual amount that they would be putting into this movie. So there's so many different things that would be definitely really difficult to kind of come down to. But really looking at this future of superhero movies, every single studio is really thinking about, well, we want to do these shared universes. This is a big thing now. But at the end of the day, everything comes to an end. And of course, I personally think that one day superhero movies will come to an end, just like everything else does. Unfortunately, that day will eventually come. I personally don't want to see that, but that will come eventually. With the inevitability of really superhero movies coming to an end, now studios will definitely run out of ideas to really do. And I feel as though, now hearing about all the big deals going on recently, now is a Marvel versus DC or Marvel and DC crossover movie definitely possible? That is 100% definitely possible. And of course, I think it actually will happen eventually. Do I think it will happen anytime soon? Absolutely not. I don't think we're going to be seeing a Marvel and DC crossover movie anytime soon. I don't think that's going to be happening for the next 10 to 15 years, maybe even 20 years, because I do think superhero movies will be going on for that long, but I don't think that we're going to be seeing a Marvel versus DC movie anytime soon, especially because right now superhero films are doing just fine. Every single superhero film that comes out basically is making a ton of money, so I personally think that's not even on the table yet, and they're not even having talks or anything like that. I think this is something where both studios really run out of ideas and people aren't really coming back to the superhero movies. It's kind of dying out, and then say Disney and Warner Brothers wants to give it their last big draw so they can probably prevent the end of superhero movies. Well, how do you do that? Well, a great idea is basically just making a Marvel and DC crossover film. If that were to happen, you can bet that every single comic book fan would be going out to the movies to see this movie. Of course, this would probably be the most expensive film ever made, and probably even more expensive than, say, Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4. But of course, you'd have to see which characters would really be crossing over. If you were just to think the core Avengers and the core Justice League characters were really going to be crossing over, that actually would be a very realistic movie that could be made out of a Marvel and DC crossover film. I personally think that definitely could happen, but if you're getting up to, like, say 60 or 70 characters that were going to be put on screen, I think that's completely ridiculous. I don't think that's going to happen at all. You're not going to see all of your favorite DC and all of your favorite Marvel characters in one movie together. I don't think that's possible to happen because it's just too many characters. But of course, personally me, once again, I do think this actually is going to happen. I think we are going to see a Marvel and DC movie actually come out. But of course, that's not going to happen for a very long time, guys. But it is definitely possible. So guys, let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is actually possible? Or do you guys think this is actually going to be happening probably in like 10, 20 years at best? Let me know down in the comments your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions on this. Make sure you guys definitely smash the like button if you guys like this video. Of course, make sure you guys definitely subscribe to Webhead for more on Marvel and DC going forward. Of course, make sure you guys definitely turn on that notification bell so you guys get to keep up to date with all of my latest uploads. And make sure you guys definitely get into my Black Panther giveaway. All you gotta be is a subscriber, and make sure you guys definitely comment below and you guys are entered into the giveaway. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye. Alrighty, Webheads, if you guys like this video and you guys want to see more, make sure you guys definitely subscribe right over here to Webhead. I have plenty more videos on Marvel and DC going forward. Of course, make sure you guys definitely hit that notification bell so you guys get to keep up to date with all of my latest uploads. Of course, make sure you guys definitely check out my social media links in the description below so you guys can follow me on various social media networks. And make sure you guys definitely check out the 2 videos below me. I think you guys would really enjoy. But thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye.